Hello, and welcome to the Profit Partner, where we help to grow six-figure businesses in 12 months or less. My name is Cherie, and I am the Profit Partner. Now, we know in every business, one thing that we need, one thing that's fundamental, is a good business plan. And sometimes a business plan will just be a few pages. Other times it needs to be quite a dissertation. Maybe if you're going for funding or if you're going for angel investing, capital, as far as banks are concerned. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to bring an expert to you to talk about how to create an effective business plan, a practical business plan, something that you can use in order to grow your business, whether it's six figures, seven figures, billions of dollars. The choice is up to you. So we have Larry Fox here of the Values Group, who's going to tell us how to put an effective business plan together. Welcome, Larry.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Previously, I ran companies, and there I learned the common denominator for all successful business leaders was the development of a business plan. Whether it was for the overall business or project by project, the more planning you put in advance, the more proactive the leadership, the more successful the project.
Great. So tell us a little bit about maybe a couple of the companies that you worked with that used your business plans and how successful they've been.
We created an internet online learning and training company long before email was prevalent. We provided accredited courses and needed a business plan to develop how we would market such a crazy idea as learning over the internet. Mm-hmm. That proved successful. Then we sold that company and moved over all of the people who had been with me, became investors, and a company where we financed high technology equipment. There we needed to look at each project as a discrete business unit and developed our business plans, first for my boards to approve, and then if we were to engage in financing, which we did frequently with lease financing, the lending institutions would demand a business plan. Mm-hmm. That's where I learned to develop business plans, answering all lending institutions' due diligence questions. And I learned the wisdom of that because we didn't have a single project that was not successful. Wow,
that is impressive. So tell us a little bit about creating a business plan if you don't need any financing, let's say, you're just a service company, versus if you are going for financing through a bank or through angel investing or venture capital. Are they different?
The first thing you have to understand is something always triggers a person's head to say, I need a business plan. Mm-hmm. In this era, it's predominantly, I need capital, whether that's small investors, family and friends, the venture capitalist, or lending institution. What I try to tell people is it's great that you are going to do your business plan, but the business plan should be more than simply an instrument that you hand over to someone to say, read this and you'll see how good I am. Mm-hmm. It should be an on-demand management tool. It should be a way of ensuring that the leadership is always proactive. I try to tell people when I do public speaking, I'll show a picture of a telephone and ask people in the audience, what does this mean? And of course no one knows. And I will say it means that answering the telephone is valueless. A machine can do that. What's important is what are you going to say after you've answered the telephone? Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing with a business plan. As you've learned from me in our discussions, a good business plan is divided into three sections.
Right.
The first discusses your business or marketplace opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's how you see what you can do. What is the potential? Who are your competitors? And you make then the distinction, can this team take advantage of that business opportunity? We look at competitors again. We look at a marketing plan. So frequently people will come in and tell me they're going to network or they're going to advertise. And I try to say, well, your business plan has to tell me how you're going to network or market in order to maximize the opportunity that we've laid out. Then,
tell us a little bit more about that. No, you're fine. So give us an example. We have a bookkeeping company. My mom actually owns a bookkeeping company. And if she were to say to you, I'm going to network in order to bring clients in, and you were to ask her to delve down deeper to explain that, what would you suggest her, what kinds of questions would you ask for her to think about as she's doing that?
The first thing I would ask her, I would say, Carolyn, when you go to what you call a
Carolyn's my mom's name.
Carolyn does QuickBooks. When you go to a networking function, are you there under the false assumption that your objective is to get clients? What your objective should be, it's always wonderful if you catch a client or two, is to get other people to refer folks to you who need a damn good bookkeeper.
So in other words, as a service company, our goal, the opportunity of going to these networking events is to find referral partners.
Exactly.
Wow, great. Give us another example, if you would. We're going to tap that brain of yours today.
Okay. Well, in her case, I'd like to go back to the opportunity. She, like everyone, believes that because she provides better services, opportunity will come to her door. That's a build it and they will come philosophy, and it's almost guaranteed for failure. I would rather see her discover how many people, for example, in her catchment area where she has her location are going to the H&R blocks, for example, for tax. I'd like to find out how many of the small businessmen are using other bookkeepers, how many are using accountants, because she provides a superior service. The first thing she has to know is to whom she's going to offer her services.
Right.
Now, we know in her case, for example, how good she is because she started a business and it's successful.
Yes.
So for her, the business plan and the opportunity is to identify how to expand the clientele base where she currently is, and also how to expand, how to make herself, if you will, a franchise, not necessarily selling franchises, but behaving as if she were a franchise, showing again how many people we can get through the door.
Right. So let's talk a little bit more about that, because I know where you're headed with this, about creating a franchise-like atmosphere in our businesses. We're familiar, if you haven't read, there's a man by the name of Michael Gerber who wrote a book called The E-Myth, and E-Myth stands for entrepreneurial myth, where he talks about systems in a business, and I think that that's where you're headed, right? Like, what are the systems in your business and the way that you operate that also helps you create a continuously provide superior products and services?
It's a combination of that, and every single one of us talk to ourselves. We talk with lightning speed.
I don't talk to myself.
Oh, of course you do. Mentally, the left lobe to the right lobe. And that happens so fast that we miss steps.
Okay.
If I can force you to write down your goal, to write down how you're operating or how you wish to operate, you'll see on paper the missing steps. And those are the missing steps, if you don't have a business plan, that will mean either, one, you're going to be a failure, or two, even if you're a success, why you're not going to be as successful as you should be.
Right.
The more you plan up front, the more successful you are later. There's no such thing as a business plan that covers everything going. But the more you've thought about it, the more comparable experiences you've thought about, the more likely you can solve problems, solve them quickly. One of the biggest issues that I see for small businesses, if they don't have a business plan, is when they hit a problem, they want to throw money at it. And that's not necessarily the answer. I explain whether the consultant is me, or an attorney, an accountant, a bookkeeper. Your consultants are only as good as you are.
Right.
If you don't give them direction, then they'll go all over the place,
Right.
charge for the time, and not give you very much, not because they were evil, but because you didn't show them the target.
Right. So basically being clear about our goal as business keepers is essential. If there's a problem in our business, clearly identifying what that problem is and working through that. And as you're even saying, planning a little bit more.
It's as simple as providing job descriptions for the people that you have that parallels what you think your objective or mission is. I can't tell you how many CEOs I've talked with that will tell me, well, I told them what to do, and they thought they had done such a good job, and it was awful. And I'll say, did you ever put it in writing? And the answer is inevitably, well, I told them. Well, but they didn't read that. They couldn't see it, and you didn't see what it is you might have told them isn't crystal clear.
Right. So you did an excellent segue into the second philosophy you have as far as business plans are concerned, which is team, or the second section, I should say, which is team. So tell us a little bit more about the team, how to assemble a team.
First, we've got an opportunity behind us. We've now identified that there is a marketplace or business capability of being successful. But you have to capitalize on that, and you start with the CEO, whether through experience or through the ability to hire people. You have to start to develop and show that you know how to capture that market share. That's part of your business plan. That's part of your networking plan. And interestingly enough, the third section that you mentioned a few minutes ago, the third section of a business is the pro forma, or the economic model.
Right.
When you make projections for revenue, everyone knows they're projections. They're not real until you've done it. But one thing you can be exactly on target, and that's your expenses.
Okay.
If you don't know the cost of everything you're going to incur, then you're not a good leader. You're not going to be able to take advantage of that market opportunity. And so we begin to force everyone to look, to analyze, to think about their assumptions even. I hear people say, well, we assumed we'd capture this percentage of the market. Why did you assume that? Because the weather was warm that day? Did you sit down and think out what the competition is, for example? Did you think out how many people there are that you can get? And who were you hiring to get them? Were you, in one particular case, for example, when I ran a company, we would find radiologists who would tell us that they could market very, very technical equipment, and they were using their standard marketing person. They were using someone to tell other people or other doctors about x-rays, a very, very simple machine to operate. That human being might be wonderful, but was not prepared to talk to other doctors about technology such as a PET camera.
Right.
Entirely different salesperson.
Right. So you kind of bounced around to three different, I got that, to the three different, so it sounds like everything really is contingent on the other section. We have the three sections here, which are the opportunity, the team, and the financing, or the economic model, and it seems like everything is contingent on the other